Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome to Nate Flows. Today we're going to do level 1 of Nordic curls and hip flexion. So we're going to do some easier basic stuff with the Nordic curls, which is the strength component of hip flexion. So we're going to do the strength work of our Nordic curls, and we're going to go into the lengthening and static stretching, active static stretching of hip flexion. So to demonstrate hip flexion is when I bring the angle between my shins and my chest closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. Okay, so as I come into that hip flexion, I press through my heels, I squeeze my glutes, but as I come into hip flexion, I'm coming into an anterior pelvic tilt. And you're going to notice as I press through my heels and find that anterior pelvic tilt, my hips are going to be more stacked above my heels, which is going to lengthen my hamstrings and increase the depth of my hip flexion, okay? So my core is tight here, my shoulders are retracted, and then I can lift the chin to lengthen out my spine. So a lot of times you'll see arch spine like this. I'm just trying to find depth. But if we want to build strength in our hip flexion, you want to lengthen that spine out. So anterior pelvic tilt, okay, core is tight, retraction, lift the chin. So see the difference between I'm curving, finding my forward fold, and then lengthening the spine in my hip flexion, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our Nordic curl work. So as we come to a seated position, we're going to find a bridge pose, which is actually a hip extension movement, but we need to build this base before we can move on to more advanced Nordic curl movements. So I'm going to come on my back, make sure you have enough space, and before I go too much farther, for today's class, we got the big gun, so you're going to need a lot. 2 blocks, a strap, a blanket or a towel to support your knees, and then also gliders. So replacement for gliders, you can use a TRX machine or gymnastic rings, but anything on a surface or above the ground that's going to allow you to extend the knees. Okay, so let's go back to laying down on our back. And I'm going to move my heels as close to my glutes as possible, okay? So the closer your heels are to the glutes, the more power you're going to have in activation in your hip extension. So pressing through my heels, I'm going to engage my glutes where they're pressing up towards the ceiling. Okay, my core is tight, and now with my shoulders, I'm going to roll them into retraction, right? So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together to kind of protect my spine here. And so now we're in our bridge pose, okay? Hands can be flat here. You can use as much support as we want. And we want to make this dynamic. So I inhale. As I inhale, I'm going to tuck my chin. I'm going to roll my spine down all the way to my sacrum, okay? Locking my heels. Exhale, press through the heels, engage the glutes, core is tight, retract the shoulders. And we're going to go for 8. Inhale. Exhale, press. Inhale. Press through the heels, engage the glutes, core is tight, retract the shoulders. Inhale, come down. Good. Remember, we're rolling the spine for safety. So the core is protecting the lower back as you roll the spine down all the way to our hips. Exhale, press. Halfway there. Inhale, come down. Exhale, press. Inhale. Exhale. We're staying active, guys. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, so notice when you press through the ground with your heels, those hamstrings are active to support the hip flexion, hip extension, excuse me. Exhale, press. Inhale, slowly come down. Okay, so go ahead and come to a seated position. We're going to roll out the legs here, and we're going to do a couple of sets of these guys. So if this next progression is a little too much, go ahead and just stick practicing coming into that full hip extension in your bridge. So for this next one, we're going to come into single leg extensions. So go ahead, come on the back, okay? Bringing the heels as close to the glutes as you can. Press through the heels. Okay, I'm engaging my glutes to come into hip extension, chorus tight, roll the shoulder blades into retraction, plant the hands. So now from here, I'm going to extend my right leg, okay, as my glutes stay active in hip extension, okay? I'm going to go for 5. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, press through the heels. Both of them, press through the glutes, extend. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, last one. Inhale, exhale, stay active, press through. Inhale, slowly come down. Tuck the chin, roll the spine down. Okay, so just rest here for a second. Even when the spine's grounded like this, then you can kind of ground the back of the head. Let's take 3 Ujjayi breaths here, and then we're going to switch sides. So remember, if that was a little much, just go ahead and stick to the glute bridge presses. One more breath into the diaphragm, slow down the heart. Find attunement with your body, start to find your focus, your heart center. All right. Inhale, exhale, press through the heels. Pull through the hamstrings, engage the glutes, hip flexion, chorus tight, shoulder retraction as you roll the blades together. Inhale, press through both glutes. Exhale, press through both heels. Staying active through this movement. Inhale, exhale. We're going for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull with the right heel. So you're pulling down and back to activate this right hamstring. Last one. Inhale, exhale, press. Inhale, slowly relax, tuck the chin, and relax. Alrighty, so we're gonna do a third set here, guys. This is where we're gonna use the gliders, a TRX machine, or the rings. So choosing your progression, okay, you can stick with the bridges, the single leg extensions, or now we're gonna come into glider hamstring curls. So you want your heels grounded on the glider because that's where we're applying the force. So as I ground my heels on the glider, I'm going to come back. Okay, so go ahead and from here, you're going to extend your gliders all the way to where the knees are straight. Okay, so from here, I'm going to retract my shoulders. And then I'm gonna hip extension pressing through my gliders, okay? So if you can't quite lift off the floor yet, practice the single leg extensions. So press my heels down and back into the gliders, engage the glutes, hip extensions, forward tight, let's find that retraction. And now from here, I'm pulling the gliders towards my glutes coming into that glute bridge. Okay, so that's our exhale. Inhale, extend. Exhale, come in. Okay, we're gonna go for 6. Inhale, exhale, contract. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Staying tight in the heels, glutes, core, and shoulders. Squeeze halfway there, guys. Inhale, exhale, pull. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, exhale. Pressing through the heels, guys. Stay strong. Last one. Hold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, relax. Good. Inhale, tuck the chin. You can pull from the hamstrings, coming back up. We can go ahead and put these gliders to the side. Okay, we won't use them for the rest of class today. So that was the strength component part. So now we're going to work into our active static stretching, but first, I want to teach you guys the push-up part of chaturanga. So go ahead and grab your 2 yoga blocks and you're going to set them on the high. So in chaturanga, what happens is as I come into my cat, right? So I'm protracting my shoulders, I'm contracting the core, posterior pelvic tilt, and then I come into my plank. As I come down into the push-up, you want to try to isolate the protraction. So even though my arms are bending, I'm locking the protraction as I come down. So that protraction, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt is locked as the body comes down. So it's in a fixed position. So if I were to do a full one, it would look something like this. Okay? So we're going to break that down, and we're going to use the highest part of the blocks, and we're just going to come into our cat. So place the knees underneath your glutes. Okay, we're going to press away from the block to find shoulder protraction, right? And depression. So if you want to add a little bit of extra strength in there, as you protract, you depress the shoulders, my core is tight, posterior pelvic tilt, and now I'm going to squeeze my heels towards my glutes. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to do partial ranges with the blocks. So as I inhale, locking my chain, right, try to keep that shoulder protraction, I'm going to tuck the elbows, I'm going to lower, keep my chain locked, exhale, press up. Okay, so let's go for 6. Inhale, spine is fixed, exhale, press. 2, 3, got distracted, fix your chain, inhale, come down, exhale, press. 4, 2 more, shoulders, protraction, depression, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt, engage the heels, come down, inhale, practice the shoulder protraction at the bottom, exhale, press. Perfect job, guys. Last one, inhale, come down, exhale, press. So you're going to find a lot more strength gains and also stability in your shoulders as you practice locking the protraction as the arms bend. So, keeping that aside, we will use those later. Go ahead and come to your downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to bend the knees here. Find a little bit of comfort. I'm pressing through my heels, straightening my elbows, and then pressing my chest towards my quads as I bend the knees. Okay, inhale, right heel comes high towards the sky. Exhale, bend the knee, lean towards the wrist, protract the shoulders, depress, core compression, plant the right foot as close as you can in between the hands. Inhale, as I come up into crescent lunge, okay, I'm pressing the right heel down and back to activate the hamstring, and then I'm engaging the quad for external rotation of the knee. The ball of the back left foot is pressing down and forward, and that's going to square my hips, okay? And now I'm going to engage my glutes for that posterior pelvic tilt to stack my spine, shoulders above hips, core compression, shoulder depression has come to prayer. Okay, relax your jaw. Take 2 Ujjayi breaths here. Next inhalation, keeping the lower body locked. Elevate the shoulders, bringing the arms above head. Exhale, go ahead and find a warrior 1 position. So in warrior 1, go ahead and modify your feet to whatever is comfortable. My foot's at a 45-degree angle. If this was 90, this was 0, I'm right at 45, okay? So having in my warrior 1 position, my hips are square, the right leg is still the same. I'm going to inhale, straighten my right leg, I'm going to come into a pyramid pose. So go ahead and take 1 block, you're going to set it to the left side of the right foot, and then taking your strap, you're going to lace it underneath your foot, okay? And then you're going to have both of the straps in the right hand. So now, from here, you're going to press down and back, and that right heel to lift the toes, okay? My left heel is pressing down and forward, okay? So my hips are square, core is locked. So from here, I'm not going to worry about my block, but it's there for safety. So have it in line with the heel. And we're going to practice our hip flexion. So with my heels locked, quads tight, anterior pelvic tilt, tighten the core, retract the shoulders, you can lift the chin, pressing through your hips as your chest comes toward your right shin, okay? You're using the engagement of your muscles as a primary hip flexion, and then you can pull against the strap as secondary support. Okay, if this is here, that's fine. Just practice pressing through the heels, hip flexion with a straight spine. If you can crawl down the strap and maybe get your hands on the high block, that's a great job. So I'm gonna hold it here. I'm gonna go for 6, 5, staying active, straighten the spine. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, squeeze. 4, follow that pattern. Inhale, straight spine. Exhale, pull and squeeze. Walk down. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. Inhale, ground the right foot, bend the right knee, press back up. Go ahead and move the strap to the side for now. Go ahead and grab your towel or blanket and put it behind you, so as you ground the left knee, you have support. So we're gonna come in to a pose called King Arthur, which is a very good quad and hip flexor stretch. And we're gonna come into 2 variations. So what is this first variation? What we're gonna do is, as we come and we lean, we're gonna come on top of the kneecap, okay? So that's really gonna help build strength in your knees, but also keep them safe, is as I press the front heel down and back to activate my hamstrings, I can pull forward where I come on top of my knee. There's gonna be a lot more support there. And then from here, we're gonna engage the left heel towards the left glute. Okay, and you can put both hands on your knees, or if you would like, you can maybe find a block here and place here. So those are hands, cues, knee. If you want to practice bounce, if you're not quite there, that's fine. Place a high block here. Let's go ahead and jump into this first variation. Muscle cues, joint cues. Heel pressing down and back, engaging the hamstring. Quad is active to keep the right knee externally rotated. Left heel is engaged to left glute, coming onto the top of the kneecap. And then from here, engaging both my glutes, I find a posterior pelvic tilt to stack my shoulders above my hips as much as I can while the feet stay active. And we're gonna hold for 10. Squeezing that heel towards the left glute. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, come down. So now for our second variation, go ahead and grab your strap. You're going to thread it underneath your back left foot. And now from here, it's the same motion. So as I lean, I press my right heel down and back, engage my right quad for external knee rotation. Okay, engage the left heel towards the left glute. Come on top of the left kneecap, engage both glutes forward, posterior pelvic tilt, lock in your core compression, shoulder depression. The right hand is going to be placed on the inside of the knee like so. And so as I lean and I'm active, I'm going to pull the strap, okay, against my left glute. Okay, so make sure your chain's locked here all the way from the ankles, knees, hips, core, shoulders. For 8, 7, 6, 5, pulling secondary. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back down. Alrighty guys, so now put that strap aside for now. We're gonna come into a half split. So keeping that left knee grounded, we're gonna extend the right leg. And so from here, go ahead and grab a block, place it on the inside of the right knee, and then bring in the bad boy strap back. Have it wrapped around the foot. So what are my cues here as I come into my half split? So once again, this front right heel is pressing down and back, okay? Quad is active to protect the knee, also strengthen it. Back, the ball of the back foot and the left knee is pressing down and forward. As I come into hip flexion, right, closing the angle between my chest and my shin, I come into an anterior pelvic tilt, engage the glutes, retract the shoulders, lift the chin. Okay, so from here, we're just going to go ahead and grab the strap. And it's okay if you bend the knee as you come into hip flexion. Okay, I would much rather have you practice the anterior pelvic tilt, tight core, shoulder retraction, and lifting the chin. So I have a straight spine as I come down into a bent knee. So, having my block here ready, we're going to go for counts. Okay, pressing the front right heel down and back, okay? Back left knee down and forward. Anterior pelvic tilt, press through the hips. Okay, you can bring your left hand here, pull through the strap. Go ahead and bend the knee. Inhale, lock the spine. Exhale, squeeze, contract your muscles to find depth. Okay, walk the fingers forward, pulling a secondary action. And now if you feel that your chest is getting really close to your quad, you can press through that front right heel to lengthen the knee. So as the knee strengthens, that allows more room for your hip flexion. Okay, but remember, a spine is primary. Straight spine is primary compared to the bending of the knee. And when to go for 6, wherever you're at. Inhale, exhale, find depth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, tuck the chin. Exhale, slowly roll the spine up. Go ahead, plant the hands on the inside, swing it back. Man, that was a lot. Okay. So, let's go ahead and cover, you are going to need your strap for this, a standing forward fold in our level 1. So we still have the other side to do, but we're going to split it up in a forward fold. So go ahead and stand in the middle of your strap. Okay? Right under the arches of the feet. So holding your strap, go ahead and find a mountain pose, right? So press through the heels, down and back, activating the hamstrings and the quads, engage the glutes, posterior pelvic tilt, neutral, posterior, core, compression, shoulder, depression. Okay, so I'm in my mountain pose. So now from here, as I inhale, I'm going to bend my knees, anterior pelvic tilt, closing the gap between my chest and my quads, okay? So I can crawl down through this strap. I'm coming here. Remember, spine is straight through my anterior pelvic tilt, core, tightness, shoulder retraction, lift the chin. So you can inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, pull against the strap as a secondary recruitment of your muscle activation, okay? If you need, you can come back up, bend the knees more, and then practice from here. Okay, so play with your knees in the strap as you keep a straight spine to practice where you feel like you could find a sweet spot. So wherever you're at, we're going to hold for 8, 7, press through the heels, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, tuck the chin. Exhale, slowly stack each vertebrae as you come to a standing. Awesome job, guys. So go ahead and find both the yogi blocks, and we're going to do our cat chaturanga once again. Remember, we're locking our protraction to practice our shoulder strength and the bent arm of the chaturanga. So, knees stacked above, underneath hips, okay? Shoulder protraction, depression, core compression, posterior pelvic tilt, heels engaged towards the glutes. Here we go, shoulder protraction is locked, coming into depression as I inhale, exhale, press. We're going for 6. We already did 1. Inhale. 5. 4. Squeeze, guys. Stay active throughout your chain. 3. Inhale. Press at the shoulder, protracting at the bottom. Exhale, press. 2. Staying active. Find your chain. Inhale, come down. Press your shoulder, protraction at the bottom. Exhale, press to straight arms. Beautiful job, guys. Set those blocking to the side. Let's go ahead, plant the palms. Find our downward facing dog. Alrighty. Bend the knees, press through the palms, straighten the elbows, pressing the chest towards the quads. Inhale, the left heel comes high. Exhale, press through the right toes, lean shoulder protraction, core compression as the knee comes through. And plant the foot as far as you can in between the palms. Bend that front right knee. Inhale, press through the left heel, coming to our crescent lunge. The ball of the back foot is pressing down and forward. Left quad is activated for external knee rotation. Both hips are engaged for a posterior pelvic tilt, core compression to stack the shoulder and depression above the hips. Taking 2 Ujjayi breaths here. Relax your jaw, drop the tongue. Steady your heart, steady your body. 1 more. So locking the lower body, inhale, shoulder elevation. Exhale, find comfortability in that back foot where we pivot to 45. This would be 90, this would be 0. So we're at that comfortable 45 where we can still square our hips. Okay? We're gonna need 1 block if you want, and then our strap for a pyramid pose. So lacing the strap underneath the foot, okay? Both parts of the strap are gonna come in the left hand. So as I inhale, I'm gonna straighten my left knee, okay? My left heel is pressing down and back, back right heel is pressing down and forward. In that motion, right, we're active through the heels and ankles to square the hips, okay? From here, inhale, anterior pelvic tilt, tight core, shoulder retraction, press through the hips, okay? All the way from the ground through the heels, through your hips to find that flexion. If this is all you have today, that's fine. Practice that straight spine and pressing through that left heel to lengthen that left hamstring. Inhale, go through your body cues. Exhale, squeeze and find depth. We're gonna go for 6. Maybe you reach the block. Maybe you're just practicing your straight spine. 4 more breaths. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, bend that front left knee. Exhale, press through. Go ahead and grab your towel or blanket. We're going to place it underneath our right knee. Exhale, come down. We're going to come into that King Arthur variation. So from here, I'm going to ground my left heel down and back. So notice as you press the heel down and back, as you lean, the hamstring really activates there, okay? And then you can squeeze your quad to externally rotate the knee. So as you lean, engage that right heel towards the right glute and come on top of the right kneecap, okay? So you're almost at the top of the knee at the quadriceps tendon. So we're active here. We're finding our posterior pelvic tilt, squeezing both glutes, curling the tailbone forward, stacking the shoulders above the hips. Okay, we're gonna engage the right heel for 8. If you need your block, use it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, slowly come down. All right, guys, second variation, go ahead and grab your strap. Spread it underneath the right foot. And then have both parts of the strap on the right side in the right hand. All right, same process. Left heel, down and back, lean, activate the hamstring and the quad. Right foot is engaged towards the right heel. Come on top of the right kneecap. Engage both glutes to find your posterior pelvic tilt, core compression, shoulder depression to stack the spine. Pulling is secondary movement to your muscle activation to find depth in your King Arthur. Hand can be placed on the inside of the knee here. Our kinetic chain is locked and fixed and strong. You can crawl the fingers if you want to find more depth. And we're going to go for 6, 5, posterior pelvic tilt. 4, lengthens the hip flexor. 3, breathe. 2, 1. Exhale, slowly release the strap as you ground the back right foot. Okay, and now from here, we're going to bring our strap over to the left side, and we're going to find our half splits. Go ahead and make yourself a little room if you need. Okay, so back right toes are stacked, or you can have it at the top of the foot. Let's do top of the foot. And now we're going to extend the left leg. And remember, you know how deep you can go, so modify the knee and the heel to where you can find comfortability, if that's a word, in your depth. So, strap laces around the left foot. Both parts of the strap are going to be in the left hand. Okay, blocks here for support only if you need it. Okay, cues. Let's go through the cues. Left heel, pressing down and back. And remember, I'm flexing my toes towards my shin, and that's really going to activate my hamstring. Quad is engaged to externally rotate the left knee. Okay, the top of the right foot and the knee are pressing down and forward to square my hips. Okay, inhale, anterior pelvic tilt. So as you come into anterior pelvic tilt, you can still engage the glutes, okay? So while the heels are locked, anterior pelvic tilt as the glutes are engaged to lengthen through, okay? Core is tight, shoulder retraction, lift the chin, bend the knee to where you find your sweet spot. Use the block as you need. Crawl the hands down the strap. Remember, pulling is secondary to your muscle activation. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, squeeze. We're gonna go for 6. Inhale, press through the heels. Anterior tilt, core, shoulders. Exhale, press through. 4. Remember, if your knees are bent and your chest is getting closer, press through the knee to strengthen it, allowing more room for hip flexion. 2. Find a steady breath here, guys. Use your breath to find depth. 1. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, slowly come back up. Awesome job, guys. You can set everything to the side for now. And so to end class today, we're going to work on our plow pose. So we're going to do 2 regressions to plow pose to build up to it. So the first one is what we did earlier with our glute bridge, but now we're going to practice using our fingers to interlace underneath our lower back to retract the shoulders. So come on your back. Bring in the heels as close to your glutes as possible, okay? Press through the heels. Press the heels down, back, engage the glutes to come into hip extension. Core is tight. And now underneath my glutes, I'm gonna interlace my fingers, okay? Like the church in the steeple. And now from here, I'm gonna roll my shoulder blades into retraction, okay? So I'm pressing my wrist against my mat to find leverage to roll into retraction. And so now pressing my heels down and back, engaging the glutes towards the ceiling for hip extension, course tight. I'm actively pressing away from my mat for shoulder retraction. We're gonna hold for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, slowly unravel your fingers, tuck the chin, roll the spine from top to bottom, feeling each vertebrae. Good. So for the second part of our plow pose, guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come on our sit bones, okay? Leave room for your legs to extend. So we're coming in that forward fold position that we did in the warm up. So my active cues here are, once again, I'm pressing through my heels, okay? Flexing the toes towards my shin, activating my quads, and now I'm gonna interlace my fingers and place it on the back of my head. And so what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna curl the crown of my head towards my quads, okay? So with my sit bones grounded, I'm gonna lengthen my entire back line. Sometimes you can feel it all the way to the forehead or in your toes, okay? So we're just practicing using active curling to lengthen out that part of the body. So interlace fingers, behind head, press through the heels, flex the toes, quads are active, curl the crown of the head towards the quad, course tight, and we're gonna hold for 10. Exhale, find depth, 9. Inhale, press through the heels, exhale, squeeze, 8, 7, 6, 5. Use your breath to find steadiness and depth. You can find a little bit of twist here if you would like. 4, 3, breathe, 2, 1. Inhale, unlock your fingers, slowly roll the spine up with each vertebrae. Let's find a seated position. Guys, thank you so much for doing this with me. Going through Nordic curls and hip flexion. I hope you're starting to feel into your body and enjoying these flows. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.